Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tapping in. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Like videos like this.
This might be the most outrageous story of the year so far. A hospital in France had to be evacuated on Saturday after a World War I artillery bombshell was found lodged in a man's anus. And not only was this shell a whole 8 inches long and over 1 inch thick, which the 24-year-old apparently inserted in himself, with the media suspecting it was part of a party trick, but also the bomb was still live, meaning it had the potential to blow at any moment. Brother belongs in the files for this one. To make it even more wild, this ammunition was used by the German Imperial Army in World War I, and after surgeons successfully removed it in an emergency operation, a security perimeter had to be formed around the hospital and all patients and staff were evacuated. Even the bomb squad had to be called to defuse the shell, along with the fire brigade on standby. This unidentified man now faces charges of handling, if you could call it that, category A munitions, which in France can carry a sentence of up to 10 years in prison.
Zelensky has been caught in the Epstein files, and Epstein visited him multiple times. In emails between Epstein and a Rothschild family member, they discussed Ukraine. And in 2014, they talked about the upheaval in Ukraine when the US overthrew their government. And in February of 2019, Epstein stayed in the capital of Ukraine a month before Zelensky was elected. And this is Zelensky telling the Rothschild, by the way, I'm visiting Zelensky this Thursday, 3 months after Zelensky was elected. And here, this message to Epstein: we should go to Russia and meet my friend Ilya. He's a member of the parliament and the main organizer of the uprising against Putin. He might replace Putin and become president himself. Any ideas how to help him? Epstein visited Zelensky multiple times and was chatting with his friends on how to overthrow Putin in Russia. When Vladimir Putin says that Russia is battling Satanism in Ukraine, you have to believe it.
Yeah. Airport. Yeah, that's the driver. Driver is some bado aram. Gaadi chal rahi hai. Yeah, देख. वो ऐसा लग रहा है. और गाड़ी चल रही आराम से। ये वो करलाई रोड पर क्या करीब का ही बॉर्डर गाड़ी पे और ये ड्राइवर है फिर फुल लोड के चला रहा हूँ। ये देख जरा चलो ये देख पावन नहीं रहा।
There is reportedly an object that is not in this country that is so large it cannot be moved. That they've built an entire building around it. And I think either Greer or another individual has actually mentioned this site, but I'm not going to mention it because it is a classified location. But there is a really apparent, there's reported a really large object. And that's one of the locations that I'm requesting to get to. It's going to involve a lot to make that happen, but that may be the final destination.
So did you guys know that the CIA had an operation back in the 70s to overthrow Castro? But when you guys hear what they were going to do to overthrow Fidel Castro, you are going to be astonished. So the CIA was going to say that they were going to make Jesus appear in the skies of Havana. That was their plan, to make Jesus hologram-like appear in the skies of Havana in Cuba, something like this possibly, to make the Cubans overthrow Fidel Castro, to put it in their mind that they need to overthrow Fidel Castro. They were going to use that type of sorcery and witchcraft and deception in the 70s, which is the biggest part here. In the 70s, mind you, if they had the technology then to pull something off like that, what makes you think they don't have something even greater now, 55 years later, 56 years later? This world is a huge stage. It's like I don't think people understand that this whole world is just a big stage. It's all it is. We are all side characters watching it all play out and just sometimes being the audience. And this is their game. This is their show. They're making us participate in.
It was hella scandalous. Look at
This food's he's door dashing and taking food from the people. Oh, what a sick fool. He's putting his shoes on there. Oh, wow. 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 I got you on camera, bro. You're sick, bro. You're fucking disgusting. Why are you gonna put your shoes? You're disgusting, bro. You're nasty, bro. This guy's putting shoes on the people's food. You're disgusting, bro. You're fucking sick. You're fucking disgusting, bro. I got you on camera, bro.
It's mine.
Huh?
It's mine.
It's yours?
Mine.
Okay, bro, it's yours. Sick fuck.
Meu Deus do céu, olha o tamanho desse homem. Ele é enorme. Tá quebrando tudo. Tu já chamou a polícia?
लाइनमैन राम सिंह देखिए कैसे अपने जान जोखिम में डालकर कार्य कर रहे हैं। देखिए किस तरह से अपना तजुर्बा एक्सपीरियंस देखिए इनका तजुर्बा चलती हुई लाइन में।
As long as he have his safety sandals, he's okay.
We are the sum total of 22 different extraterrestrial races. Extraterrestrial races that have been here for hundreds of thousands of years, who have interbred with humanity and left offspring. Now, that's the physical. The spiritual aspect of who we are is even more enlightening and even more amazing. It's called the Blue Brain Project in Switzerland. They have combined Blue Brain Project. They have combined many different types of technologies, and what they have done is they have essentially created a type of MRI that can scan the entire brain. And I mean all of the intricate structures of the brain itself. What they have discovered is that some of us have in our brains fourth, fifth, sixth dimensional structures already in our brain. Now think about that. There are other people that they have done the same thing with that have 7, 8, 9 dimensional structures in their brain. Some have 10 and 11 dimensional structures already in your brain. Now you're a third density physicality, and yet in your brain you have multiple dimensional structures. Now, another best kept secret is that many children are being born with a third strand of DNA. Another incredible secret is that many people who have had near-death experiences are coming back, and when they come back, they have 3, 4, and 5 strands of DNA. There was a guy in Australia who was dead at 1 hour and 45 minutes, and he woke up in the morgue, and when they did an examination of him, he had 6 strands of DNA. We're talking about one of us. So, nothing we've been taught about ourselves is true. We haven't been told anything about who we really are.
I would say in my lifetime, I've probably eaten at least 1.5 couches to 2 couches of cushion. It's no go, no more, can't use that. So if I do these little chunks, they're like little bite size, little snack size. I know that it's not healthy. I've already had some health problems because of it. It caused a blockage in my lower intestine to where the doctors almost had to go in and cut the part out where the sponge was blocked. A sponge gumbo. Ooh.
Tell me about the land.
The land.
The land, the buildings, how that whole aspect of it works.
Is there a problem?
A big one. You don't seem to realize what business you're in. You're in the real estate business. You build it by owning the land. What you ought to be doing is buying up plots of land. This will provide you with two things. One, a steady, upfront revenue stream. Money flows in before the first stake is in the ground. Two, greater capital for expansion, which in turn fuels further land acquisition, which in turn fuels further expansion, and so on, and so on. Land. That's where the money is. And more than that, control. Control over the franchisee. Control. End result, you'll have the banks and the franchisees in the palm of your hand.
This is the restroom in Portugal. Oh my God. I just locked the door and locked everyone out because I don't do communal bathrooms, but this is the bathroom.
They always put it right in your face. Don't you guys know what this actually was? And yeah, I'm blocking out some of it just because how vulgar it was. Just wait until I tell you what you actually just saw. So the entire Grammys was a homage to that island guy. Not just him, but the system they all created. And don't be naive, he's still here. I'll show you in a minute. She's wearing a human skin clothing. Do you see the latches on the side? That's exactly what this is supposed to be. Hadn't y'all seen the parties? Completely unrelated, I wonder if any of them have shoes back there. Justin Bieber performing in his underwear. You think that's an accident? Do you not understand what this is? The whole time, people have idolized these celebrities. They have never understood that you are watching people who are literally being tortured. It's sick amusement for the elite, all being in the stage, watching the people on stage who have terrible things happen to them. And the cycle goes on and on. That's why Jay-Z left. And speaking of celebrities, before we talk about the Island Man, we've seen a bunch of exposing allegedly done by Nicki Minaj. But my thing is why they keep saying, oh, the devilish Democrats and not the whole elite system. It's like when the Kirk thing happened. Everyone's like, oh, those dirty people on the left. Last I checked, all left and right were all in the files, weren't they? And now we get to this Island Man. There's been so many sightings of him since he passed away. Not to mention a 4chan writer literally came out of nowhere and said that he was positive that he had gotten switched with someone else the day before he passed away. Not to mention the picture evidence we have. And then don't even get me started on the autopsy. But there's no actual way he got switched, right? Even the files themselves prove they're not being truthful with us. It says that they didn't think he unalived himself. But remember what I just said about the autopsy and the pictures of him being around still? Then we get into the obvious evidence that he started Bitcoin and in a certain country bought like 70% of the supply years ago. All the way to this stuff. Look, this is not left or right. This is all politicians and all powerful people on this earth know him. This is bigger than you can imagine. And the Grammy was a great celebration in his honor. Like when Lady Gaga came out and started doing witchcraft in front of everybody. I won't even play the video. Don't forget this one thing. There's a reason for everything. By the way, completely unrelated. You remember when California burnt down and of course we had Tom Hanks in those documents and his house and a whole bunch of houses were there burnt down. Unrelated, all the things in the house are gone now. Just like Diddy when he knew they were coming beforehand. People have got to wake up. I don't know if Nicki's being genuine, but what I can tell you, this is certainly not the left. It's all of them.
The game is probably called China.
The emails drop, and Jeffrey Epstein, who worked on behalf of the Rothschilds, according to him, he wrote that in an email, the Rothschilds who credit themselves with having created which nation state? Oh, right, Israel. Israel, the same nation state that is having a bunch of women say that they were ritualistically abused in a forest by rabbis. That's happening in the Knesset right now, that nation state, saying that they were 3, 4 years old when this happened. He's saying, those are my bosses, the Rothschilds. And here is a brief, but by no means an extensive coverage, video that was put together by, I assume this guy must be Goy, right? Goy? Is he Goy? TikToker Contrarian put this together. Take a listen.
Israel is mentioned twice as much as Donald Trump in the new documents. Here he is discussing with Roger Schank, a Jewish American academic and hedge fund worker, saying Jews create vast fortunes by manipulating markets and creating financial speculation and exploiting labor. He says, let the Goyim deal in the real world. In a discussion with the Rothschild family, Epstein says if they overthrew the Ukrainian government, there would be great opportunities. The Rothschild family paid Epstein $25 million for certain algorithms. While talking to Peggy Seigel, August 7th of 2010, she asks if an event is going to be 100% Jewish. He says no, they'll have Goyim in abundance. But don't worry, they're just brilliant wasps from JP Morgan. Joshua Finkelstein, BlackRock's Larry Finkelstein's son, is accused of not having any respect for non-Jews, seeing them as not human. This is from his ex-girlfriend, Svetlana. He pressures her to have an abortion. In 2017, Epstein has a conversation talking about if you want to hire the best people, you have to hire only Jews. Only hire those who can prove they are genetically Jewish. Maria Farmer, one of the first victims to come out and name Epstein.
I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's.
Said that their operation was motivated by Jewish supremacy.
Anybody gonna say that that's not real anymore?
¿Ya por fin la atraparon?
Ya llevaba varias noches en las casas.
If you're single and you live in America, then you need to see this. They're floating marriage camps for single people. I need you to listen carefully. This is not satire, this is a real proposal. There's a plan being pushed by the Heritage Foundation called Saving America by Saving the Family. On the surface, it sounds like culture war language. Underneath it is something way more serious. So they plan on making marriage boot camps. Unmarried people will be encouraged to attend structured programs designed to push couples toward marriage. So the end goal of all of this shit is the participants will finish this program and then take part in a group wedding ceremony. You heard what I just said? You'll go through the program, you'll finish the program, and at the end of the program, they'll have a group wedding ceremony. Now, the estimate cost of this proposal is about $280 billion. That's not pocket change. That's a national level investment in reshaping personal relationships. Now, couples who complete this program and get married, they're going to receive a $5,000 cash bonus at the end of the ceremony. And this is all funded by private donors. They call it voluntary, but when money, social pressure, and institutional backing get involved, voluntary gets blurry real fast. This ain't about helping people find love. It's about them telling you what you can and not do with your personal relationships. And once the government starts controlling your personal life, you already know what's going to happen with that. Think about what doesn't get this kind of funding. Healthcare, education, housing, but they got money to tell you how to live your life. Go down that rabbit hole, because once personal freedom becomes a problem to solve, it's on everyone's list. Pay attention.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That's okay. That's just for the Diddy party. That's just for the Diddy party. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You're not gonna tell nobody, right?
No.
It's okay, right?
I don't care.
All right. Thank you, boss.
I'm actually a draconian from Alpha Draconis, and your government is actually letting AI exist so that it will be undistinguishable from existence and what's actually real. So you might be watching this and think to yourself, that's gotta be AI. There's no way. But what if it's not? Like, really? What if it's really not?
Your soul is mine.
How much is it? Yeah. 160. So 160. Alright, bet. Appreciate it. Put it in here. Thank you.
There is something very off about the Super Bowl logo, because when you look at the colors, what do you notice about the colors of this Super Bowl logo or the superb owl? The colors are all bright, right? But what if I told you there is a deeper meaning to this logo? Because when you look at the logo, it eerily resembles the emergency broadcasting system. Now, am I saying that anything is going to happen at the superb owl? No, I am not saying that at all. But don't you find this to be a little suspicious? I know I can't be the only one to find this to be a little bizarre. I'm not claiming that anything is going to happen at the superb owl, don't get me wrong, but I'm just pointing out how bizarre this truly is. Regardless, the NFL and all sports are scripted and rigged, and people really need to wake up and realize that they do rituals.
I'm so happy it looks like that. I thought it was gonna be like gold and like unnecessary, but it was good.
I did too, to be honest. It's a little weird because I know we're gonna eat a $70,000 pizza later, so it's kind of hard to get hyped for like a $2,000 steak. Sure. You know what I mean?
Living life looks like July 4th. It keeps coming back. It's the finest beef. I believe that you'll ever taste.
I bet this will trigger him. Do you have any A1 steak sauce? Stop. I called it.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
It's like slicing into a baby. Huh? Poor choice of words.
Tattoo.
Tattoo?
What?
Is everyone coming to watch me get a haircut? Is it that interesting? Where are you from?
मनाई ना देखो मनाई नहीं आया आदमी तो थोड़ा बाहर का आदमी आता है तो आदमी देखता है फोटो ले अपना उनके भाई के साथ आगे भाई बाहर के आदमी से मैंने
There's people outside watching me get a haircut. Like, am I that interesting? What's going on?
हिंदी हिंदी है
I'm Hindi too, brother.
Thousands of pounds of chicken meat without killing a single chicken. And Upside Foods has spent over $200 million in research and development in order to create this technology.
Let me show you how we do it.
Please do, I don't understand.
When we took cells from a chicken egg in 2018, we cracked an egg, we took a small amount of cells, and we froze them in this. That goes down to -80.
Wow. And you've used those cells to make hundreds of thousands of pounds of chicken meat.
Step 2 is we take those cells, we gently thaw them out.
Oh my gosh. This is simulating a chicken's body, and the cells are just multiplying.
Once we get enough of them, we move on to step 3.
This is protein, fat, sugar. I'm literally feeding the chicken cells over there so they can multiply into chicken meat.
That's right, yes.
And once the chicken feed is in the container, it moves all the way through these pipes and through the factory and eventually ends up in here.
We can look through this. You'll see chicken cells just swimming and swimming in there.
Oh my goodness. It's a lot of chicken. So, every 2 seconds, this produces a chicken's worth of chicken meat.
Yeah, every few seconds.
Back in late 2022, leading into 2023, there was an illegal biolab that was uncovered in Reedley, California, operated by companies associated with this dude whose name is Zhu. Now, that illegal biolab contained thousands of vials of biological materials, some labeled with infectious agents including HIV, COVID, tuberculosis, malaria, Ebola, and it was labeled in both English and in Mandarin, along with blood and tissue samples, as well as hundreds of mice, many of which were dead, and unrefined unrefrigerated pathogens. And it appears as if there was more than just one, and I'm going to explain why. On January 31st through February 1st of 2026, the FBI and Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department executed search warrants at a residential property in northeast Las Vegas after they were receiving reports of potential laboratory equipment and hazardous materials. Investigators discovered what appeared to be an unlicensed biological laboratory operating out of a locked garage of a property owned by an LLC that is linked to this dude. Inside of the garage, authorities found multiple refrigerators and freezers containing vials of unknown liquids. Great! Unknown liquids. Gallon-sized containers of unidentified substances, a centrifuge, a biosafety hood, and other lab equipment. Over 1,000 samples were collected and sent to the FBI laboratories for testing, and officials have stated there is no known threat to the public. No known threat. What does that mean? Now, the Las Vegas discovery is directly linked to an illegal biolab that was uncovered in Reedley, California in late 2022-2023 that was operated by companies associated with Zhu. Now, the Reedley lab prompted a 2023 congressional investigation by the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, which alleged ties to Chinese banks and raised biosafety concerns. Now, so far, they don't know what the stuff they found was, but they said that the items in the Las Vegas garage were described as consistent in appearance with those from Reedley in California. Now, the testing of the Las Vegas samples is ongoing, and authorities have emphasized a methodical approach because they want to make sure they do this the right way and that they figure out exactly what these containers held inside of them. But here's the weird part. According to the congressional investigation that was done on this situation, Zhu apparently received $1.3 million in unexplained wire transfers from the People's Republic of China banks, not accounted for by sales or fraudulent COVID/pregnancy test kits, which were misbranded and recalled. And additional funds came from loans via Zhu's prior companies and PRC entities, which raises even further concern of potential money laundering. Not only that, but this dude is facing a 330 million Canadian dollar judgment and is a wanted fugitive in Canada. So the question still remains, what the hell are these biolabs doing in America?
这种房子就睡一宿肯定得电视打开了，送着看。
Bro, Harry Potter had better digs than that.
We are at Port Authority, and I know somebody with the key.
First, you gotta ring the doorbell. Ding dong.
You're with Anita Durst. What?
What is that? Whoa.
Oh, it's like a closet. What?
Whoa.
Why is this here?
Wait, go look inside.
Yo, they got weird stuff in random closets.
Look, the closet's really big.
Oh, no way.
Oh, that's the kind of closet I want.
What? Somebody has a secret changing room right here in the Port Authority.
This is my kind of closet.
What is going on?
This is my fantasy closet.
Whoa, there's like a secret theater here in the Port Authority.
We're gonna perform.
Someone needs to please explain this to me because I don't quite understand. If we can zoom in this close to the moon, if we can get this close to the moon from the Earth with the powerful cameras that we have, and we can just zoom right in on it, then why won't NASA zoom in on Australia? That way we can see this, and the whole debate about whether the Earth is a globe or it's flat would be over, right? Why don't they do that? Why does it look like every single composite of the globe Earth looks like CGI, looks like Photoshop? Why does NASA admit that it's Photoshop, that it is composites, even though we're going to Mars and all this stuff and sending rovers? Make it make sense. If they wanted this debate to end and prove to everyone that the Earth is a globe, this is all they would have to do. It's so simple. They have the technology, clearly. So why don't we do it? Why don't we do it? Someone explain it. Why don't they do that? Why don't they zoom in on the Earth from their locations that they're taking pictures of the Earth from? Doesn't make sense. It's all a lie. The globe is a lie. You're all being fucking duped. Wake the fuck up. Peace and love.
What if airplanes don't actually burn jet fuel to fly? We're told airplanes fly by burning jet fuel. A Boeing 747 carries about 64,000 gallons of fuel, roughly 193 tons. But where does it all fit? A 60,000-gallon tank is huge, yet we're told even more fuel fits inside thin airplane wings. Visually, it just doesn't add up, and refueling only takes minutes, not hours. This fuel supposedly powers jet turbines. But here's where it gets weird. Some ancient Indian temples like Hoysala and Kailash contain stone pillars that are incredibly precise, symmetrical, and even movable. Some spin. Some have stone balls inside them. They look engineered, not just decorative, and strangely resemble modern jet turbines. Some theories claim ancient structures were power plants that pulled energy from the air. The same idea suggests modern planes use similar tech, fuel for takeoff, then free energy at high altitude. It's all made by 3 companies, GE, Pratt & Whitney, and Rolls-Royce. Want the truth about jets? Comment secret and I'll DM the document.
Some people believe the $2 bill is cursed by the Illuminati, with hidden symbolism found in the words $2.
You can rearrange the letters like a game of Scrabble, and you can get 2, T-O, owls, lard. If that doesn't make any sense to you, welcome to the club. But people touting this say, well, you see, it means if you go toward the owls, the owl being the symbol of the Illuminati, and if you fold the $2 bill a certain way, you can see that it makes a very nice looking owl. And then lard means wealth, or did at a certain time, about 18th century, that somehow 2 owls lard is supposed to be a statement that subliminally might influence people to join the secret society.
You won't tell anybody about what I bought, right?
Bro knew, but he couldn't prove it.
Okay, hold on a second. Were the giants so tall, the ancient giants, were they so freaking tall that he had to flood the earth for 40 days and 40 nights to be able to submerge them? Anything less, like why did he pick that specific amount of time? That was obviously enough to do the job. The job was to get rid of the giants. So we're talking titans, dude. Like, I'm not talking that tree. Like, that would have been like a peon, like a micro giant. I'm not talking about the Afghan giant either. We're talking titans. Now, where would giants go during a flood to try to escape it? Probably the tops of the highest hill, the highest mountain they could get to, right? Where do they find pink salt? On top of and in a giant mountain. What does pink salt look like? Have you ever looked in a pink salt mine before? Type in pink salt mine, look on the inside of it. It looks eerily similar to that of human muscle fibers. Like, it looks like cured ham. It looks like prosciutto, or should I say prosciutto. Things petrified. We know that. Many things petrified. Did ancient titans petrify into pink salt? There'd be a ton of minerals. And if there was ancient giant trees back then too, which we know there was. Sorry, I'm not buying the magma story. I'm not buying the story that Devil's Tower and the other basalt column in Antarctica and the other one, the Giant's Causeway in Ireland. Or Scotland. I'm not buying that's magma. I'm sorry, you're not convincing me that magma forms hexagons. When magma cools, it's just splattered, it's just squishy, it's just freaking all discombobulated all over the place. It doesn't form the plant cell structure of a freaking hexagon. It doesn't do that. So I'm not buying that story. So these trees, lots of oxygen, in the atmosphere. This is confirmed. This is the funny part. This actually corroborates the official story, which is things were bigger because the atmosphere was bigger. You know why the atmosphere was bigger? Because there was giant trees pumping out a bajillion pounds of freaking oxygen into the air. Just one inhale from that, and you'd be like floating, dude. You'd be like high from the oxygen content in the air. You'd live longer, like maybe 900 years, like Noah did. Things are adding up, dude. Are you seeing that the truth is being revealed? So giant trees, more oxygen, giants growing big. More oxygen. They probably had 1 billion pounds of minerals in them because they're so freaking huge. That petrified into pink salt. And pink salt is good, I will say, but you got to be careful because pink salt, when they mine it with TNT, dynamite, there's like heavy metals. There can be toxics into the pink salt if it's powdered pink salt. If you buy a pink salt block, like you're good. There's no heavy metals in there unless it is pink salt. When they mine it, sometimes they tap into a different, you know, I guess a different part of the giant where there's like a bunch of heavy metals. Perhaps his bones had more crazy stuff in it because they run into a vein in the pink salt mine. Maybe it's the ground underneath the petrified giant that has heavy metals in it. So you do have to watch out for that. But, and then someone said yesterday, I said the question, people ask, where did the giant trees go once they cut them down? Like the top of Devil's Tower, where the hell did that tree go? Well, if they cut the trees down and then flood the earth, that tree's long gone. The tree stump, the freaking whole tree would have been washed away in the flood. So that's why you don't see a giant tree beside Devil's Tower where they cut it down. Let me know your freaking thoughts, dude.
The Epstein files just keep getting stranger. In these emails, he discusses giving people supernatural abilities through psychological stress, cloning people, and even designer babies, whatever that's supposed to mean. Let's start at the bottom here. This person named Gino Yu emails Epstein. He says, I'm in Paris and was about to write you and it popped up. She's a classic stage 3 in the model. Outlier who is intelligent, was traumatized when she was young, SA, and now gradually coming into her own and becoming self-realized. Starting to develop special abilities. This trip, we found a lot more stories like this, though she is more on the extreme side given her biographical history. Epstein responds asking what prompted his email. Then this guy goes on to say the caravan trip has been really wonderful in meeting people that are stage 3. These are people who are developing a different perspective of reality and discovering the gifts they have. He goes on to say, I understand that you were not happy with the results of the Cuba conference that you funded, but I feel like the work is very important toward helping people identify and recognize the gifts that they have, which may not be accepted or well understood by society today. He concludes saying new models are also possible, such as the alternative paradigms group are finding their way, new forms of knowing without knowing how one knows. And in this one, somebody named Brian Bishop emailed Epstein saying, attached is the document you requested. It's the use of fund spreadsheet for the designer baby and human cloning company. This gets us out of the self-funded garage biology phase and the first live birth of a human designer baby and possibility of a human clone within 5 years. I pulled these emails directly from the DOJ's website. They are 100% legitimate. This kind of reminds me of government projects like MK Ultra, for example, but they're not the exact same. However, the framework is kind of similar. Trauma, altered states of consciousness, reframing somebody's identity, and pushing the limits of what we think is possible.
So this might be your sign to stop eating fast food. So here's the thing about gloves. I feel like a lot of fast food workers, they never change their gloves. So this guy's doing whatever he's doing to himself with the gloves, and then he would have went out and made food. So again, if you want to stop eating fast food, think about this video.
Maybe the boss told him to go grab the meat. Sick.
So you want evidence that the sun and moon are local? Well, here it is. So here's a piece of paper with a flashlight. We put the flashlight near the piece of paper, and there's local light illumination. Now, if we move that all the way back, guess what? The paper is evenly illuminated now. So let's compare that to the sun and moon. So what do we have here? The moon. I took this photo. You see this local light illumination? It matches perfectly with a local light source, right? Here's the sun, same thing. Local light illumination. This is called the inverse square law of light. Every time you double the distance of a light source, you're going to get 1/4 of the luminosity from that light source. So this local light illumination is literally impossible if the sun was 93 million miles away. And by the way, the sun in these examples is below the clouds. and the tops of the clouds are illuminated because the local sun stays above the flat Earth and it moves east to west around the Earth. Just like this, we live on a perfect map and clock. So the compass always points north, and east and west are circles around polar center. Now, if you were to dead reckon, which means going in a straight line in reality, you would eventually end up south, because every direction on a straight line will end up south on the Earth. And yes, when the sun sets, it does change in angular size. These are all different recordings I've done with the solar filter. You can go check them out on my channel. And the sun sets due to perspective, just like these streetlights converge down into the horizon, just like the sun. As the sun moves away from you in the distance, it appears to lower due to perspective. Actually, the only way we have a horizon is if the Earth is flat. The same reason why this hallway converges into a point is the same reason we have the horizon. It's the limitations of our vision. Same with this road. Flat road ramps up towards eye level. Flat water ramps up towards eye level. Now, our local sun moves between the tropics every year to make seasons. So when it's on the Tropic of Cancer, it's doing a smaller circle going east to west around polar center in summer in the north. 6 months later, it migrates to the south to the Tropic of Capricorn, and it becomes summer in the south. Now on a globe, when it's winter in the north, the sun is 3 million miles closer to the Earth, which makes zero sense. How can you get closer to a heat source and have it get colder? And as you can see, this is a UV index of the sun throughout the entire year, and it's a concentrated laser beam between the tropics because that's where our local sun moves in between. So again guys, perspective ramps up, ramps down to a convergence point. Guess what? Same thing on the water. The boat in the distance appears higher because it's further away. So then if we combine these two images, guess what? That's why we have a horizon. It's the limitations of our vision. So again, you're going to see this with your naked eyes one day. You're going to see the moon in the midst of the clouds, and it's going to have a local light illumination. Literally impossible from the claimed distances that they tell us.
What do you hope to find in those documents? Does anything connect any dots for you?
Well, the committee is going through that. There are a lot of documents, but the big question is, how is Jeffrey Epstein, a former school teacher, worth $500 million?
The question is, was Obama the first ever gay president?
I just started rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and it went the direction I had intended it to go.
Even though you had sex with him twice, you did cocaine with him, watched him smoke crack twice.
It definitely wasn't Barack's first time, and I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't as long.
If this video doesn't make you question everything you thought you knew, then you might be too far gone. You guys gotta check this video out.
What's up guys, Spenny? We all know that Barack Obama has a very creepy, secret, personal life, and we've seen this obviously in his own hand and writing, where Obama says that he makes love to men daily in his imagination. He was writing his girlfriend this. Strange that. Barack Obama saying, I must say that in this attempt to remove myself from the present, I perpetuate endless farce of earthly life. You see, I make love to men daily in my imagination. My mind is androgynous. I see that I have been made a man, and physically in life, I choose to accept that contingency. Is Barack Obama trans?
Pause. Stop right there. See, this right here is where the internet loses its mind. Now, I'm not here to diagnose anybody's college letters, but can we please agree that this right here is not normal reading material at the age of 21? I need you guys to comment right now to tell me what you would do if someone gave you that letter. Would you frame it, burn it, or move to another state? Let's keep going, guys.
I don't even get it. He was 21 years old when he was writing this in 1982 to his chick girlfriend, who published the letter and released it in Barack Obama's own handwriting. Nobody ever challenged that this is an authentic letter. It's very, very weird. Barack Obama then went on to marry Michelle, and they had kids. And then they sent those kids to Harvey Weinstein right away. That's right. Nothing shocks me. Barack Obama comes under scrutiny for sending daughters to work under Harvey Weinstein to make it big in Hollywood, because this is what you want for your young, innocent little girls, right? This is the kind of mentor that you are looking for in this scenario. I mean, they're so thankful for Harvey. They literally
thanking Harvey Weinstein for organizing this amazing day.
This is I2, right? I1 and I2. Equation number 1.
And God forbid the brother wants to improve himself.
I tried to speak with Senator Clinton at the time. She wouldn't talk to us, and one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up to her is because someone was hearing her voice, ventriloquism.
It's been done to me, and I don't know why. I don't know who's doing it, what the purpose is.
Now watch this, because what he just described might explain something that was caught on camera during a U.S. House hearing. Look at the woman standing behind Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, and pay close attention to what happens when she speaks.
First, I wanted to introduce into the record page 55 from the committee's interview with FBI employee Roya Demlow, who you just spoke about, which took place on July 17, 2023. They would be representing what I said because I don't have much knowledge of that. They would be misrepresenting.
All you have to do is use voice morphing.
This Harvard scientist exposes claims about CIA mind control weapons still being used today. And what you're about to witness might explain far more about the world we're living in than most people realize.
But if you cognitively model someone, you have a brain print, like a fingerprint. And if you use autocorrelation techniques, and there's a way, and we'll just kind of wave our hand, functional MRI that you can do at a distance over the earth, you have every human being's brain pattern. You can control 8 billion brains on the planet, potentially. Read them.
Scientists and military researchers have spent decades studying how the brain responds to energy, sound, and stress, often in ways most people never hear about. The idea of neuroweapons and mind control sits in that shadowed space where advanced science meets secrecy. One of the people raising these questions is Robert Duncan, a Harvard-educated scientist with a background in advanced defense research. What makes his warning unsettling isn't what can be proven on paper, but what leaves no visible trace at all. Think about it. If the battlefield had truly shifted inward, then the most dangerous weapon may be the one you never know is there. For instance, some people say the sound didn't come from outside at all. It didn't travel through the air or enter through the ears. It felt internal, as if the brain itself was being triggered to hear something that wasn't there in the usual way. This idea has a name that sounds unsettling even before you understand it. Voice to skull.
And so if you're programming someone to go after, let's say, a political target, all you have to do is use voice morphing and pipe in the tortures, the pains, and 24 hours, make it a artificial intelligent chatterbot too, and you'll drive the person crazy. The news, the mass news media will just write them out. Oh, they're crazy.
At first, it's easy to dismiss. Hearing sounds without external noise is often associated with mental illness. And for years, that's exactly how many of these claims were treated. But a small group of scientists have pointed out something uncomfortable. There was a documented phenomenon, studied decades ago, where certain types of pulse radio frequency energy can create the perception of sound inside the head. This is known as the microwave auditory effect, or the Frey effect.
There's something called the Frey effect. The Army had it on their website called V2K, and that's how a lot of people refer to it, that can pipe voices into someone's head. You can't plug your ears. It actually vibrates the brain, which is like many concussions, through the small pulses that expand the tissue and then contracts it, then goes to the inner ear where they can hear it. If you just turn that up, it causes brain damage. You're heating the brain. So there are a lot of ways, and a weapon, for example, that I think is reclassified now, but it was done at the University of Nevada as a non-lethal weapon that resonates the dopamine cells of your brain, producing cells of your brain, and it floods it. Now, it worked. The Air Force reclassified it.
The brain can register sound without the ears even being involved. That single fact changes the tone of the conversation. What once sounded impossible now sits in an uneasy space between science and speculation. For people already experiencing unexplained symptoms, this possibility feels less like theory and more like a clue that refuses to go away. And this is where the story stops being abstract. Reports tied to what later became known as Havana syndrome describe clusters of symptoms that didn't fit neatly into familiar diagnoses.
That incapacitates the adversary.
Oh, you didn't know? Well, let me show you. Let's get a little bit closer, shall we? This was released in 2000. It was originally done in 1957. This is the number you can look it up by. Firmament. You can find it on page 19. Here's where they talk about the near and local sun, flat earth, and firmament again. This isn't a theory or a guess. These are their own words. They didn't use the word atmosphere. They said firmament, a biblical term for the solid dome above the earth. These images prove beyond a doubt that the CIA approved document from 1957 that explicitly uses the word firmament, flat earth, near sun halo, and discusses the brightness behavior over a flat surface.
Valentina!
Ay, qué pena con ustedes. Ay. Valentina is in full Valentine mode.
This is interesting because we have gotten testimony from a lot of different witnesses, people who have different psychic abilities, who have come from the inside, from Black Ops, like our Henry Deacon, telling us that we are accessing stargates constantly and going, in fact, between the Earth and Mars, and going between the Earth and the Moon, and possibly other places as well. In other words, not just that we're staying out of space or out of the stargates because the Orions tell us to.
Well, they were used in timeline number 2 to gradually access Moon and Mars. Now, there is a possibility that the information that he has or had has to do with a future timeline. That would make sense to me on that level, but not on the level of, hey, honey, let's take the kids to Olympus Mons today.
No, but how about if the military is sending equipment back and forth, et cetera, et cetera?
Okay. The Orions could trust us so much where they could hand us a cube and we misused it to the state that we misused it, where they then had to inflict a treaty system upon us.
Are they running our country? Are they running our world?
No. They're simply constraining what we're able to do. No, we're running our own show down here, meaning when I say we, I'm not talking about the common folks that are, like being starved to death every day. We're running our own show politically down here. These statements about, well, these are mind controlled, this or that, automatons working for the ETs and the government. No. These are good-hearted and black-hearted people, both, all fighting each other to run the geopolitical scenario. That is an honest, assessment from what I've seen, what's going on. But we are constrained as to what we're allowed to do. Meaning where we are allowed presently to off-world.
I understand.
Very nice. We placed our hands on our hips, and Underdog flew the American flag on the moon, and we showed ourselves so wonderful and all of that over the Soviets. But that doesn't mean that we're quite able at this point to go and camp out for too long.
Okay, so now you're telling me why we're not theoretically, or we haven't gone back to the moon, at least overtly.
We're busy throwing sticks and stones at each other. And another reason why why we cannot go back there is part of the treaty system allows us to have a certain repository set somewhere on the moon. And that repository is presently there.
Okay.
And that is in case the T2 timeline should eventuate, or there should be a geological or a global catastrophe of like size.
Okay, which is the arc, what you called the arc.
Yeah.
Okay, which, from what I understand, used to exist here on the planet.
Well, in several pieces.
Right. Okay, so they took it up to the moon somehow.
It was assembled
went through the Stargate?
No. That was going to, in fact, they were building equipment up north from here. and they ended up getting it about 3/4 of the way built. I actually told Bill Hamilton about this when we were walking on the Jeep Road out at Frenchman Mountain one night. He says, well, where's it going to go? I looked like that and kind of pointed up, and there the orb was heading. He says, ah.
Okay, but you call it an ark. Is this something
Well, that's
that
a nickname for it.
But it sounds like it's going to save creatures.
It's got genetic and tissue and other products.
From us.
Yeah.
Okay, other creatures on the planet as
Oh
well,
yes,
animals,
oh yes,
plants?
yes. A very good biodiversity, yes.
I see. And it's sitting on the moon in case there's something very bad that happens down here. Is that the idea?
Yes.
Okay. From the moon, where does it go?
It doesn't.
Oh, really? But the moon's not like, the most inhabitable planet.
No, but it's the place that we're allowed to be right now. Okay. Do I sound like I'm weighing my words?
Yes. Okay, well,
it's your job to ask the questions. It's my job to answer them as honestly and as truthfully as I am able, while being honorable and beneficial.
Okay. And
that's a wrap for today, Foo. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me, smash the subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.